Welcome to I Am One, where I am one with the Creator and one with myself. Today is January the 21st, 2023, and it is a new moon day. And with the new moon, that just basically means there's a new cycle. There's a new 28, 29 day period where we get to start all over again. We get another chance to get it right. We get another chance to set intentions of what we want to see in these next 28, 29 days. We get a chance to come clean, wipe the slate clean, and start fresh. And so I want to do a reading, but it's going to be much different than what I've been doing recently. I invested in a couple of sets of tarot cards because I've been watching the videos on them and very much relative to our everyday, just like the sun, moon, and stars are that guide us through the day and guide us through the night and helps us to go on through each cycle and gives us clues of what's going on and helps us to understand why this is happening or why that is happening or why am I reacting this way or responding that way. The same thing with the tarot. So there's nothing spooky about it. There's nothing, when we're in the church that is just a straight up no. But in my own research, in my own journey of discovering, I went ahead and I ordered two different sets. So I ordered a set that's just the traditional, just about everybody who has tarot cards has this regular common deck. I'll say it that way. But I also wanted to find something that was more relatable to me. And so I looked for some African, and not so much African American, but just I was trying to find more indigenous African type cards to see what was out there. And I found a set, and they're called the African Tarot. It's just that simple. But as soon as I saw the pictures on each of the cards, it just said, you need to buy me. And so I did. And when you get a set of tarot cards or a box of tarot cards or however way they're packaged and distributed, most of them, they just come in a box. Sometimes they come in a tin, depending on how they're packaged or what kind of edition you're getting. But each one will generally come with a guidebook. So a little guidebook will come with it, and it will basically explain a little bit about tarot in itself and will give more details about that specific deck that you bought. So basically each set will follow the same premise, which is like there's they call a major arcana, and then there are different subdecks within the deck, and each of them speak to a specific archetype. So whether it's wands or swords or pentacles or cups or however way that particular deck words them, it's basically the same concept. It's just it may differ a little bit based on the intention of the specific deck that you get. So the African Tarot deck that I got has, again, it follows that same pattern of the major arcana. And basically, tarot cards are telling a story of life. And each card will give you a specific episode in the walk of life. And it speaks to different things when you're in that specific walk of life. When you go through each of the cards, and I've read each and every one of the cards, and there's 78 in the deck. So I've read through each and every one of them, looked at and investigated each picture that goes with each of those cards and the descriptions of it. And you will be amazed that there is not one thing in any of these cards that none of us as human beings have been affected by or touched by or experienced. Not one thing. I don't care how nice you are, how mean you are, how indifferent you are. Every one of these cards we have experienced in one way, form, or another. Maybe some more extreme, some less extreme, but at some point in our lives, we have experienced had at least one experience regarding each and every one of those 78 cards in the deck. So I found it very interesting and amazing to actually get my hands on a deck and read through it card by card, picture by picture, and see myself in each one of these. And so I can see how people will have decks and decks and decks and decks and decks of different themed tarot cards, because it's really speaking to life. It's not so much predicting, but it is speaking to life, and it's speaking to you where you are. So when they draw a random card and that comes up and they start to explain what they're getting intuitively, or what they're getting from basically studying the card itself after a period of time, it speaks to life right now and just makes it very relatable and helps you to do I would say do a self check. And as often as you do them, then you're doing a regular self check, like a tune up. Like when you're taking your car in after so many thousands of miles, you take it in to get a tune up. You don't need a tune up every month. You don't need a tune up necessarily every year, but every so often, depending on how much you use your car or not, you're going to need a tune up. And that's what the tarot and the astrology and all that stuff does. It is helping us to tune or retune, redefine or refine. It just helps us to stay on track. So I love this deck. I love the concept of this. And so my reading will be from reading each one of these cards. First from the major arcana, and then from each minor one. So the minor ones in this particular deck are called the Suit of Wands, and then you have the Suit of Cups, and then I have the Suit of Spears, and then I have the Suit of Discs. And again, it's African themed, mean not so much that it's African, that only Africans can relate to this. It's more about the pictures, and when I do the reading, you'll understand exactly why this deck it excites me, because not so much about taking me back to the motherland as a descendant of African slaves. And basically just representation. That's really what it comes down to. It's not just a white person. And that's because if you're a visual person and all you see are white faces, you're going to say, well, this doesn't really is relevant to me, even though the subject matter is. But when you don't see anyone in the pictures that look like you, have the color tone or anything like that, it does make it a little harder to get into. No, it doesn't matter to me. But I'm telling you, when I started looking through this deck, it did something to me within my core. So I'm not taking away from the original deck that I got, but when I saw this, it helped make sense of the common deck that everybody would have. But this one makes it more personal, and you really do. You want to have a deck that speaks to you, whether it's your ethnicity, your culture, your language, whatever the case may be. You want it to speak to you, because if it doesn't speak to you, then how is it going to help you retune? How is it going to help you to do the tighten up? How is it going to help you to take a deeper look at yourself? So there is something out there for everybody. I've investigated a little bit and seen different ones and listened to different people have different types. And if you need something to speak to you, there is a deck out there for you. So I encourage you to go forth and get one. Now, with that being said, I am going to start this reading just by reading the introduction. And then as I go forth, I will share a card with you, and I will give you information about that specific card. And I'm only going to do one card at a time. So we're going to end up having 78, plus this introduction, 78 different readings, because I really wanted to sink down for you as well. And with all the other readings that I've done and that you followed me with and gone on that journey with me, I want to take you on this journey as well. And I truly believe and pray that there is something that is read, said, that just gets you and helps you to take your journey a little farther, to help you see yourself. When I say I'm one with the creator and one with myself, this helps me to get back to being one with myself. The creator is showing me this is what what I've needed to see all my life. And now I'm at the point where I am not just ready to see it, but openly wanting to see it. Okay. Because you can be ready, but if you really don't want it, you're going to get something, but you're not going to get everything you need. And I'm ready to get everything I need. So with that being said, this is the Tarot Guidebook, and it's based on the Tarot Interpretations of Arthur Edward Waite. And this one has been modified, expanded, and edited by Philip Young, PhD. The artistry on this one is by Victoria Iva, or Eva. It's IVA, so I'm not sure if it's supposed to be Eva or Iva, but Victoria IVA. The pictures, the artistry on these is outstanding. So if you are interested, I encourage you to get a copy of this deck, and if not, then find a deck that speaks to you, and go on your journey. So, introduction. The tarot deck contains 78 cards, 22 major arcana, and 56 minor arcana. The major arcana represent the journey through life and the archetypical stages that everyone experiences. Everyone begins life as the fool and ends life as the fool. The minor arcana represents the actions, thoughts, feelings, and material struggles that we all encounter in our lives. The querent seeks to learn from every experience. That's what we are. We're the querents. We're the ones who are questioning, that are looking, that are searching. And in our looking and searching and questioning, we are finding our answers. The minor arcana are made up of 4 suits and 56 cards, like a traditional deck of playing cards. Face cards consist of knave or page, knight, queen, and king. Each suit is associated with one of the elements. Clubs, wands, or staffs corresponds to fire, cups to water, coins, pinnacles, or discs to earth, and swords, spears, or arrows to air. The cards in each of the suits take on the symbolism and essence of the corresponding element: fire or action, water or emotions, earth or work, and air or thought. Okay, so some of the tips. Become familiar with your deck. Buy a journal and take a page to write about each card, starting with the Fool in the major arcana and going through all 78 cards in sequence, which is what I spent the day doing. Look at the pictures and use the explanations in this booklet to connect each card with one of your life experiences. Since the cards are archetypical, you have experienced all 78 at least once. Perhaps you've experienced certain cards repeatedly. Write your corresponding life experience with each card in your journal. The explanations in this booklet refer to the card being upright or reversed. After shuffling, drawing, and turning over the cards, some may be upright, while others will be upside down or reversed. Reversed cards turn the meaning upside down. Pay attention to the symbolism in the artwork. The symbolism enhances and provides nuance to the meaning of the cards. Tarot cards are not deterministic, and life is not fated. The future is never set. The querent can always alter his or her future by changing their course of action, changing their thoughts, or adjusting their feelings. So these are clues to help you make the adjustments that are necessary, or if you're on the right track, don't veer off course. And with that, I'll see you next time as we begin our tarot reading of each of the cards from the African Tarot deck. Peace and blessings to you all.